All right, y'all, we're back with our second segment of the day. And I just want to make sure we shout out the mothers this past weekend. We had a Mother's Day was this past weekend. We just want to shout out all the moms. Shout out to all our moms, and all the moms who do good for all their kids and their family and take care of them. So this one, shout out. You out. Shout out. You out.
Shout.
You
No. I need some.
Maybe follow them on Instagram.
Shout. You out. Shout. You out. Shout. You out. Okay.
All right, so our next thing is a topic that my man T. Lou wanted to talk about, and it's some of the biggest things that is facing the NBA today is contracts and like free agent signings in their contracts today. So I posed the question like, what is the one player who never lived up to their contract in free agency, and how much money it was, or who never exceeded their amount of money? We got LeBron playing for $31 million a day. Is that really enough money for him? Should he get $50 million a season to play in the NBA? So we're just gonna do it like that. So I want to start this one off with my main man Lee. So which player you feel never lived up to the NBA contract?
I actually believe that for me, Houston Rockets, when, and mind you, mine is more in the past, it's not the present, but when Chris Paul was on the Houston Rockets, you got to think about the contract he was getting. It was $159.7 million. From the Houston Rockets, 4-year contract, only played 2 years, missed 20 games of that season, or the 2 seasons that he played. And it was crucial times. It wasn't like, he missed, some time in the regular season. It was the playoffs that he, it was unfortunate circumstance. I get that he got injured during those times, but for him to get paid that money, they really would have liked, that's what that kind of money is for, to get a championship, and he was in a position to win one. I always hear this adage of, the best ability is availability. I would add to that and say the best ability is availability and durability. For me, when he played in May 25th in the Western Conference in 2018 against the Golden State Warriors, and he got injured in the 5th game. It was 95-94. It was like 52.8 seconds left. They had a chance to really win that series. I really felt like they won 65-17 that year, and they had the home field advantage throughout that Western Conference, and I think they would have actually gave them I think they would have won the last game. Only reason why is because it was 101-92. Chris Paul was at 17.7 in that series, and they needed him. They really needed him to win it, to overcome the Golden State Warriors. We know how powerful they are. And I think about what he did as a Houston Rocket. He was in a career low. He was averaging 17.1, which is a career low for him. And I feel like for him to get that kind of money, he kind of let Houston down. For them not to have Chris Paul healthy the entire playoffs for 2 straight years, and we didn't get to see him do something that he's never done in his career and really get a championship.
Have a chance to play in the playoffs and really get far.
He had a chance to play in the playoffs in this unfortunate circumstance, but for that kind of money, that's what you look for him to do.
And I don't think he ever made the Western Conference Finals. Am I correct?
After that was the only time he did against the
only time
that year, in 2018.
Yeah, I just want to put in there one guy. I think maybe he's on you guys' topics, but I just want to put him out there while I got on my head. Mike Conley, is a guy who robbed the NBA of a lot of money without a gun. If I can, now we're all in Corona time. We're all putting our masks over our face. He went to Memphis, put a mask over his face, and robbed them for like 30. I know the NBA got expanded with the new TV deal, but $30 million a season is a lot for a guy.
At the time, it was the highest contract.
Paid player was Mike Conley.
Player at the time,
when LeBron James and Kevin Durant were still in the league. All right, so we're gonna go with our second person. We're gonna go with Bryan. Who do you think that was an overpaid player?
I think this is a guy who a lot of people are gonna look at me and say, "Are you crazy for this pick?" But as a Knicks fan, somebody who really is trying to see my team really start winning and make the playoffs and do some great things, I got to go with Carmelo Anthony.
Oh my God! Wow! Oh my God!
He was paid. He signed a deal in 2014. 5-year, $124 million contract. It's a lot of money to pay a guy who couldn't bring you, after that deal, couldn't bring you to the playoffs, couldn't bring you some, playoff wins. And he honestly fell off, after that deal was signed. He just to bring you a little history lesson, he was traded to the Knicks in 2011. They gave up a lot of young players they were drafted in recent years. A little core. They traded away future draft picks as well. I think 3 picks in the deal for him. But when he signed the deal, this was after he kind of brought them to the playoffs a few years in a row. He was the scoring leader. He kind of did great things with them. His points per game after he signed this deal never went over 24 points per game. Before the deal was signed, he was averaging 28 points per game, and I think the 3 years prior. But again, like I said, he didn't bring him back to the playoffs after that, in which he had brought him 3 years in a row to the playoffs. And after 3 years after the deal, the Knicks decided to trade him away to OKC for Enes Kanter, Doug McDermott, and a future draft pick, which got them basically nothing in return, in my opinion. And ever since then, they continued to fall, further and further into the, NBA cellar, and still have not returned to, any greatness. I think that a player with Carmelo Anthony's, name and legend in some ways, all the Olympic titles he won, and, he was a scoring leader and whatnot. One of the, great players coming out of that 2003 draft class. He was supposed to rival, LeBron for his whole career. But what did he bring, to his hometown?
And that was what was it? 5 years, 172 million.
5 years, $124 million.
$24 million, and only one playoff appearance in that 5 years.
He only played 3 years with them, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he went back to the playoffs. But he did 3 years. In the 3 years prior to signing the deal with the Knicks, he did go to the playoffs each of those years.
Okay.
I think to fall off after signing a big deal is never a good sign.
Yeah. Hey, Carmelo got paid. I believe it was. I think how much did the Atlanta Hawks pay Carmelo? About $30 million not to play. Mm-hmm. So Carmelo has a lot of money.
Again, you were talking about Mike Conley robbing these guys.
Yeah, Carmelo got paid not
Carmelo
to play for a team.
Carmelo has done the same.
I don't know if that's called poison or not, but he got paid not to play for a team. Another guy I'm just putting out there, just in case you guys don't have him, was Jermaine O'Neal. He had the Pacers figure. Oh, damn, was this your guy?
No, this wasn't my guy, but that's
the Pacers figured they had a guy when they found Jermaine O'Neal. They gave him a contract for 7 years. Is one of the biggest contracts during that time. For 7 years, for $126 million. 7 years, $126 million. Never lived up to. He got hurt, injured. He got suspended for the melee fight. So I believe that Jermaine O'Neal is one of the other guys who are just like, this guy never lived up to the contract and the amount of money that a franchise invested in you. Dan, what's your thoughts on this? Who's your guy that they have a good contract?
This is gonna hurt me to say it. This is really gonna hurt me to say it. But since I'm a Cavs fan, and since I'm wearing my big C hat, I gotta go with the ex-Cav. Keyword, extra emphasis on the ex-Cav. Kyrie Irving. Yes,
oh, that's blasphemy. That's blasphemy.
Kyrie Irving. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. So Kyrie Irving, for those who don't know, he wanted to leave. He said it out of the blue, right after a finals loss against Golden State Warriors in 2017. He said he didn't want to be with that organization anymore. And he said he wouldn't play. He wouldn't play. That we just be paying this man freelance just to sit there and not play. So what we did was we traded him. We traded him to I'm going a little different. So I'm doing a trade. So we traded him to the Celtics for Isaiah Thomas and Jay Crowder. Now, what the Celtics got wasn't Uncle Drew. Honestly, they got someone very immature. Now, let me just say these stats. So, in Cleveland, he averaged 25 both years. Almost all the years he's played with LeBron, he averaged 25 points. He averaged 5 assists. Damn near 6. When he went to the Celtics, he became injury prone. He averaged 21 points per game. And also, I will give him credit. I do give credit when credit is due. He did average 6.7 assists 1 year on the Celtics. But my biggest problem was that he was barely playing for the Celtics. You have guys like Jason Tatum who took over when it was times needed. You had guys like Jaylen Brown who took over when times were needed. And it was arguing, and it wasn't team play. When you saw when the Celtics played, was a cancer to that team. And also, I challenge y'all to look up his stats in 2017, 2018 playoffs.
Go ahead. I just want to get out here. You're saying that this is one of the where are we getting at? Is it one of the worst contracts or one of the worst trades?
Oh, one of the worst contracts. He got paid $141 million to do that.
We didn't hear the contract yet, but okay.
Oh yeah, I know. I was about to get to that, bro.
Okay.
So it was. Are you saying it's bad for Cleveland or Boston?
I mean, but
what was it bad for Cleveland or Boston?
It was bad for Boston. The reason why is they wasted so much money on this is my point. My point is they wasted so much money on Kyrie Irving when they had stars right there. They wasted money on Gordon Hayward too.
Yes.
Because Gordon Hayward was supposed to be a starter, but now he's barely getting any time. They got Jason Tatum. Hear me out. They got Jason Tatum. They got Jaylen Brown. They can build around Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is good. Now they got Kemba Walker. You look at Kyrie Irving. What is he doing for the Nets right now? He's not doing anything.
He's hurt. You can't do nothing when you're hurt.
That's my point exactly. In the play, I'm telling you, I dare you.
Did he not save the Cavaliers? Yes or no?
Yeah, he did get hurt when he was on the Cavaliers.
Did he save the Cavaliers?
Did he save them in the postseason?
Did he save the Cavaliers? No, he didn't save the Cavaliers. I'm not going to
That's
say
where you need to put the
because he made a great shot, bro.
How many daggers did he make?
He made the biggest shot in the last 10 years.
Greatest shot in NBA history.
Yeah.
That is. But here's what first off, can I finish? We going off track now. We talking about y'all talking about the finals. But
okay.
But I'm getting back to why Kyrie Irving.
Right, go ahead.
That trade, whatever it was a bad business decision. Because you paid the man to not only not take you to not do anything in the playoffs, not get you over the hump, but also he paid that man to stir up problems in the locker room. He couldn't play team basketball. It wasn't a good fit for him. He couldn't. Please sit here and tell me he could play basketball. Sit here and tell me that blasphemy, because he couldn't. Because Brad Stevenson's style of basketball is not ISO. It's pass the rock. So
is this an issue where you have to blame Kyrie, or is this an issue where you have to blame the Boston Celtics management for bringing a player who you think might not have fit the system?
I think this is it's a little bit on both, honestly. I feel like they gave him too much money for too little product, too little production. He didn't really do anything to deserve that. You sat here and killed Carmelo Anthony when he won a scoring title for your team, when he took your team to the playoffs, when he fought tooth and nail against LeBron in the Big Three and Heat. But you mean to tell me you're gonna sit here and defend the man that averaged 21 points per game in the playoffs? Only played 9 games. He barely played a full season. He only played on an average on the Celtics 60 games in the regular season. He had a career high with 6.9 assists. Yippee! That's an average for a point guard by that. Let me make that clear. So you're gonna sit here and defend that, but you won't defend Carmelo Anthony, who averaged more and did more.
I'm just saying.
They both lost. They both.
I'm saying the first part
is availability is what? What did you say? What was that statement you said?
The best ability is availability.
And was Kyrie Irving available?
He played in the playoffs though with the Celtics.
He played 1 year, bro. Out of 2, 1
Bro,
year, bro. 9
if you're
games.
getting paid million, if you don't want to play somewhere, you shouldn't have to play somewhere.
But the
only reason they didn't win
is
because they ran into Giannis. Who's beating Giannis? Nobody's beating Giannis.
Did he request to go to Boston?
No, he got traded there.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though, bro. Here's the thing. He wanted to leave Cleveland. He did not want to be under LeBron's shadow.
That's not
but
right.
I figured
that's fine.
Here's the point.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know that, right?
No, there's
nothing wrong with wanting your own
nothing
team.
wrong with that, though. But here's my problem. You go over there. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to be under LeBron's shadow. It's nothing wrong with that. But what I have a problem with is that you go over to somewhere else and you're like in the words of 50 Cent, damn, homie. In Cleveland, you was supposedly the man, homie. But what happened to you in the Celtics? What happened? Nothing. He didn't do anything. He did not live up to that contract.
I don't think
Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were not the players they are now.
Jason Tatum,
they were not the same players
got
that
Jason
Kyrie played with.
His rookie year. But Jason Tatum, bro, but here's the thing, though. My point is they're not the players that they are now because they never had the chance to be. You can't be that player if you're getting like 10 touches a game because someone wants to ISO. So
I agree with that. And this is why I'm going to go the other way with this and blame Boston's management for acquiring a player that we knew prior didn't like playing with sharing the rock and whatnot. He wanted to be the man. I think you knew you had character issues with this guy. That's their fault for acquiring him.
Well, in the sense they had to replace Isaiah Thomas. I don't mean to be,
I agree.
A long-winded, but they had to replace him? Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas was averaging 29 points per game next year. They were.
He was
crazy.
At the time,
He was averaging 20. He was averaging 29 points per game. He was third in MVP votes that year. Please look this up. I
know what he did.
Right.
I know how much he scored. He didn't win nothing. You saying Kyrie didn't replace him? How can you replace somebody that lost too? Isaiah Thomas didn't do nothing but score. If you trade for Kyrie Irving, you're trading for somebody that's going to score the ball. You're not trading for him to change his game.
Yeah, but you traded for Kyrie to score the ball, and he scored less than Isaiah.
Isaiah was the main player. Isaiah took more shots than him, bro.
Was Kyrie not the main player too? Kyrie was supposed to be the main player.
I guarantee you, Isaiah Thomas' usage rate was higher than Kyrie's was. And I don't even know how we are comparing Isaiah Thomas to Kyrie Irving. I don't know how.
Nobody's comparing them. Nobody's comparing them.
You just compared the two seasons they had with the Celtics.
They're both scorers.
That's comparing them. You're comparing Kyrie Irving's scoring ability to Isaiah's
season was more efficient than Kyrie was with the Celtics.
Yep.
Efficiency didn't lead to a job. He doesn't have a job right now.
Cavs than Isaiah Thomas was. So
he doesn't have a job right now. He's not.
But that's because Isaiah went to another system where he didn't fit.
Right.
It was like 6 different systems.
I never said that Isaiah Thomas is a GOAT or of any nature in Kyrie's level, but in the Brad Stevens system, he fit and he made it work.
What did he do different? What did he do different than Kyrie did?
His statistics were way better.
He do different?
So, since his statistics were better, he fit the system better?
Game.
It doesn't. Neither team. Yeah, but neither team won.
If you're a hooper, you can score in any system. You're getting the ball. Y'all naming this system thing is killing me because if I ask y'all what Brad Stevens' offense is, y'all can't name me what he runs on offense.
I can't name you what he runs. I can tell you what he does though. They share the rock.
Yeah.
I can tell you what Kyrie doesn't. Share the rock.
Is he supposed to pass the ball to Ennis Cannon? Is he supposed to pass the ball to these bums?
I'm not saying he's supposed to pass the ball to Ennis Cannon, bro. You're not looking at it from a different perspective, bro. You got players like Gordon Hayward. You got players like Jason Tatum. And I understand you were saying, oh yeah, Jason Tatum wasn't going to be the player that he is now. Well, in the playoffs that year, the year that Kyrie Irving wasn't playing, he gave the Cavs a run for their money.
Or was it the man that got paid the next year? Was it Terry Rozier that gave the Cavs a run for their money? Was Terry
it
Rozier
was
on that
actually
team?
Jason Tatum. Scary
But was
Terry
Terry-
went missing. He had one good game. One good game. Yes,
He was good down the stretch,
Damn
but
near
in the
100 million
postseason, he
next
wasn't
season.
that good.
Hey, guys, this is getting
He
off
killed the
topic.
Bucks.
We're getting off topic here. So,
Bucks.
T, I want to stay on topic here, man.
What's he doing now?
For time purposes. T, so where's your player that has the highest?
So I actually had 5 on the list.
Mm.
The year 2016 was the year of like robbery. A lot of different officers got robbed. So first I got Joakim Noah, New York Knicks, 4 years, $72 million. Robbery.
How old was he?
Mozgov, the Lakers. I'm ashamed to say it. 4 years, $64 million. Staying with the Lakers. Luol Deng, 4 years, $72 million.
Ka-ching.
And then the number 1 robber of all time, Chandler Parsons. 4 years, $94 million.
Yes, that is.
Chandler Parsons, how much?
4 years, $94 million to
For
average
Dallas.
7 points.
For Dallas.
Who was it?
Hey, I
Chandler
want to
Didn't he
mention.
go to Memphis?
He was
Yeah,
on
he went to
Memphis
Memphis,
last season.
too.
He got paid from Memphis.
Okay.
He got paid from the Hawks this past season.
Oh wow. Hey, really, I just want to interject real fast. Can you just give me a broad number? How much did Andrew Bynum rob the Sixers of and went bowling?
Okay, 100 million.
Okay, I just want to make sure. He
Can,
never played the game, right?
No.
Not one never stepped on the Sixth floor. But also another guy, Kent Bazemore, $70 million.
He's durable though. Kent Bazemore plays a lot.
does Terrence have more to go behind his point?
Not Harrison Barnes and Biyombo.
Why? One name I'm shocked we haven't mentioned was Gilbert Arenas. I feel like he was another guy that robbed his team of a lot of money.
Gilbert was a bucket, and he brought
He
him
was.
to the locker room.
He was, but after he signed his contract, like a year or two later, he only played another 47 games for the rest of his contract and had his shooting incident with his
He brought
teammate.
guns to the locker room.
And he wasn't the same that he was with that team prior to that contract, I would argue. I think he's another guy who was a free agent signing bust.
Yeah. Hey, well, these are all good points that we brought up. All good players. Well, not all good players, but this big contract that we all value that is like deemed like irresponsible by management, and that somehow, some way that the NBA ownership is or GMs is taking part in this. So we're gonna cut to commercial break, but this is our second segment.